stress management. According to the director of the largest and most comprehensive study of centenarians in the world, the average life expectancy with optimal health behaviors, meaning no tobacco or alcohol use, regular exercise, vegetarianism, and the effective management of stress, should reach into the late 80s. Quote, the vast majority of why one lives to their 60s or 70s versus these later octogenarian years, he and a colleague wrote, would be explained by healthy habit choices. I've discussed diet and exercise. How important is the stress management? The American Psychological Association conducted national surveys and found that the majority of Americans report moderate to high levels of stress. Even though the prevalence of anxiety disorders has not experienced much change over the last few decades, the level of general psychological stress seems to be worsening. What implications does this have for life expectancy? When stressed, the majority of people not only eat more, but they tend to gravitate towards foods high in calories, fat, and sugar. When study participants were randomized to solvable and unsolvable word puzzles, for example, those in the more stressful situation chose less healthy snacks, M&Ms rather than grapes. It's called comfort food for a reason. Overeating may be a sign that something is eating us. Similar experimental studies have shown that acute stress tests can also induce cigarette cravings, increase alcohol intake, and contribute to relapses and illicit drug use. So, when studies show stressful life events, like death of a child or a spouse, are associated with a shortened lifespan, what's really to blame? Might it just be these concomitant unhealthy behaviors? Once you control for these secondary mediators, the significant link between stress and mortality does indeed appear to disappear. A sidebar: keeping occupied. Among the most poignant illustrations of the subordinate role of stress to lifestyle behaviors are the natural experiments set up by wartime deprivations. After all, what could be more stressful than living under Nazi occupation? Heart attack rates must have skyrocketed, right? No. Studies in Nazi-occupied Norway, Finland, and blockaded Sweden showed the rates plummeting, dropping down to as little as only about 1/4 the preceding rate. Check out c.nf/World Wars to see what happens when meat, eggs, and butter are rationed, and food shortages result in diets dominated by garden produce. In reference to the Nazi occupation of Norway, an editorial in the Journal of the American Medical Association noted, quote, stress has little or no effect if the diet is poor in animal fat, unquote.